Reporting live from the kitchen, the winner of our season 1 of Gut Health is Chef Chase.
This is my IBD IBS grocery list to support gut health. First, we're going with kombucha. Kombucha supports gut health by providing 9 billion living probiotics. We find it very useful when we have big or greasy meals. Second is a lactose-free kefir. Kefir also contains beneficial probiotic and it provides a little sweetness for whenever you're craving some sugar. Next is going to be a yogurt. Both of the kefir and yogurt are going to be lactose-free. Then we're going to go with our fermented or pickled vegetables. I have kimchi here. I have some pickled veggies, some carrots, onions, and some sauerkraut as well. These are going to be good for whenever you're maybe lazy, you don't want to cook vegetables, you have your fermented veggies ready to go. We always try to keep some miso soup on deck. It provides a little bit of warmth and good soup. We also try to keep some delicious ginger and some golden turmeric in the fridge. They're both going to be anti-inflammatory. And finally, we try to keep some leafy greens. I have here some bok choy. The leafy greens are going to be prebiotic and help feed the beneficial bacteria in our gut.
Welcome to Whealthy Show number 10. We have another great show planned for you today. We're going to discuss things such as inflammation, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to go in depth on that. We're going to talk about mushroom coffee. I've been trying it for, at least 10 plus days, probably closer to 2 weeks now. And I'm a big fan actually. So we're going to discuss that. IBD Grocery List. What do I always try to keep in my fridge? Plus tips on how to reduce bloating. So we're going to get into all of that. As always, everything is going to be time-stamped. If you don't want to listen to everything that's going on, just, scroll along, click where you want to find out all the good stuff. But if you enjoy me and you want to keep hearing me talk, then let's go ahead and get into it. Before we get into it, I have some what I would consider good news, or like at least interesting news, is that I went ahead, I got my first infusion of a Biologic. So to help treat my ulcerative colitis, I went ahead and we decided that it was a good idea to advance my treatment. What I was previously on was called mesalamine, which is like a gut-specific anti-inflammatory drug, and it's almost like the standard first line of treatment. And it went okay. It didn't go obviously as well as it should have. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to go on the biologics, but that's okay. We're living, we're learning. So I tried to do everything I could on just the mesalamine, the gut-specific anti-inflammatory. Didn't go the way we wanted it to, so I went ahead and, I think I said that already, but we wanted to introduce the Biologic. Now, I was hesitant about the Biologic because it's one of the things, it's a drug that once you start it, you kind of can't get off of it, at least for a long time, if not a lifetime. It's an infusion. I have to go in, get infused. I'm getting it at UCSF. It was a great experience. Nothing about that. It's just the fact that you're reliant or dependent upon getting infusions for almost your whole life, or at least a long time. So I had this negative stigma almost about it. Like I really wanted to do everything to not have that be the case. And after getting the treatment, my negative stigmas just kind of went away. Like it was super easy. I'm not, not scared of needles or anything. Like obviously I don't want to be poked every day, but like it's not a big deal for me. The infusion part, the nurses were great at UCSF. It was a great experience. Nice little like courtyard area that you could look into while you're getting infusion. It's cool. It took 30 minutes. It's in and out. The drug that I got is actually called Entyvio. I went ahead and pulled it up here for you. We navigated to the Entyvio page right now. You see it's for moderate to severe ulcerative colitis, moderate to severe Chrons disease. Excuse me. Got my little button here that allows me to mute myself when I need to clear my throat or something, and just couldn't hear anything. Okay. So yeah, for moderately to severe Crohn's, moderately to severe ulcerative colitis, and given that my ulcerative colitis is Pans colitis, meaning that it affects my whole colon, and that the mesalamine didn't work, I have moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis, and the active part is really what got me, right? It's like I would experience like 2 flares a year, which isn't that bad, I get. Well, I'm not going to say that. It's not ideal, especially given the fact that each flare can last, like a month and a half. So that's like 3 months out of the year that I'm really down and out and struggling. And that's a large chunk of the year, 3 to 4 months, a third or fourth of the year that I'm out of it. So it was time. And again, receiving the treatment all my negative stigmas went away. It was easy. And they have you do a loading period. So week 0 you get infusion, week 2 you get an infusion, and week 6 you get an infusion, and then following that you get one every 8 weeks. If you miss a week, it's apparently not a big deal. You just talk to your healthcare provider, you go get it whenever you need to. You don't want it to miss too far out, right? You want the 8-week window to be recurrent, but apparently, if you can't make it in that time, you go get it week 9, maybe not a big deal. So I just did week 0. I have week 2 coming up, obviously, in 2 weeks, and then week 6, and then we're on and rocking. So I just share this with you because if perhaps, some of you are struggling like I am, you can learn from my mistakes and my journey. So that was cool. So I've also been reading this book, Breathe by James Nestor. It's an awesome book. I'll do a review on it when I'm done. One of the things that they touched on briefly, I listen to it while I'm doing my cardio, while I'm out on my runs. One of the things that they touched on briefly was like this 5 Tibetan Rights. It's like a style of stretching that helps you expand your lungs and help your breathing pattern. So I went ahead, I looked it up and click over here. Of course, Healthline has a great article about it. Everything you need to know about the 5 Tibetan Rights. So I went ahead and honestly, I told my girlfriend about it, and she did it while I kind of watched. And then after watching her, I tried a little bit of it, but it was one of those days where I was just way too tired to do anything. So she did it, and it looked great. I tried it, and it's amazing. Reported benefits are relief from joint pain and stiffness, improved strength and conditioning, better circulation, reduce anxiety, better sleep, improve energy, youthful appearance. So there are 5 rights. They're basically 5 stretches, or actually some of them are more like exercises and stretches that our Tibetan monks perform. So right 1 is kind of this, I think you just spin clockwise. So interesting, do 1 to 21 repetitions. Right 2 is this kind of leg drop, or actually it's similar to like a V-up, but you lay flat, you lift your legs up and curl your neck into itself as well. So those 2 I didn't try. I did try this right 3 here. Sitting up on your knees, it's like a little back bend. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how tight maybe the front of my body was until I tried this. It was great, it was amazing. Right 4, I tried this one too. Again, maybe another little stretch to open up your chest, open up your stomach and shoulders, and with this rounded posture that I clearly have because these two stretches or rights were very beneficial and hard, and so I enjoyed it a lot. And then right 5 is just this kind of downward facing dog, upward facing dog sequence that I had done before, but I really liked that one too. So I just thought it was interesting, a good little part of the book that if it does help lungs and conditioning, I'm all about it. So I'm going to keep doing those, especially since the front of my body is clearly tighter than the back of my body. So that's that. I've been exploring with this thing called ChatGPT, which is this AI service that's like it's like an aggregator of information. Essentially, it streamlines processes such as writing emails, doing schoolwork if you have to do that, writing scripts maybe for YouTube or for whatever else you're gonna do. It's really useful. And so here we are on ChatGPT. I'm gonna just type in why is gut health the most important health? And so it's really fast with its responses. You see, it's already coming up with this lead about if I wanted to tell someone why, writing an email, writing maybe again a script for YouTube. It's so fast. Look at this. It has good information. You have to go check it and make sure that it's not just spitting out random things. But from my experience, it's really good, super interesting. So I just wanted to share that with you. So you see here, gut health is considered to be an important aspect of overall health for several reasons. One of the most important is that gut health is responsible for digestion and absorption of nutrients, which are essential for maintaining proper health and function of the body's cells, tissues, and organs. The gut is also home to a diverse population of microorganisms known as the gut microbiome, which play a critical role in regulating, right? You see, it's kind of all the stuff that we talk about. Another important reason is that the gut is closer connected to the brain through the gut-brain axis. a compelling signaling pathway. Additionally, the gut has a major impact on the overall function of the immune system, maintaining a healthy gut through balanced diet, exercise, and stress management. Like it did that in, I don't even know how long, like 10 seconds. So super cool, like good. I keep saying super cool, but cool things are happening with it, and it's just fun to play with. So if you have the time and you find like it's useful, go ahead and play around with it. So that's really cool. I wanted to touch on that. And that's kind of the weekend. The week that I've been having is playing around with ChatGPT, trying these 5 Tibetan stretching, 5 Tibetan Rights, getting my Infusion, all fun stuff in my book, fun stuff. So, and then that leads us to our goal for this month. It is already January 10th. So we're already a third done with the month here, which is crazy, right? Because it was just New Year, but so given that we're already this far into the month, my goal for this month is to make it to the gym every day. And by gym, I just mean like a workout, 30-minute workout every day. And it doesn't have to be super crazy, but it has to be at least 30 minutes. I've been doing really well with this because I have a goal of trying a 5K every day, a 3.1 miles, whether it's walking, jogging, a mix of walk, jog. I'm going to do that every day this month. So I've been doing, I got every day so far. So this one's maybe not so hard for me. I love working out, which is always easier when you love something. So pick something that you enjoy doing. It could be tennis, could be squash, badminton, like anything. Just try 30 minutes. And that's our goal for this month. And you only have 21 days left, so not a big deal, maybe. Are you tired of the same old coffee routine? Are you looking for a healthy coffee alternative? You won't want to miss out on the amazing benefits of mushroom coffee. From boosting your energy and focus to supporting your immune system, mushroom coffee has something for everyone. So stay tuned to find out why you should give mushroom coffee a try. Before we begin, comment below and let me know, what is your morning routine? Is it avoiding coffee completely and just drinking water? Is it gallons of coffee instead of water? Is it tea? Let me know. I personally prefer black coffee. I substituted my morning coffee for mushroom coffee for more than 2 weeks now. It smells like regular coffee. It tastes like regular coffee with maybe the tiniest hint of mushroom flavor. And weirdly enough, I began looking forward to my mushroom coffee in the morning just like my regular coffee, despite how much I enjoy and appreciate regular coffee. I wanted to try it because it's being marketed as being a healthier alternative to coffee. It's supposed to have a number of health benefits such as improved focus, increased energy level, and a boost in the immune system. However, there is limited scientific evidence to back this up, so I wanted to just experiment with it and try and see if I noticed any differences. One of the interesting things that I do know about mushrooms is that they have what's called a mycelium. And mycelium is just kind of this like underground network of like, I don't know what you consider. It's like a root system underground where mushrooms can communicate with each other. So you can have a mushroom over here and a mushroom over here, and underground they can communicate with each other. And interestingly enough, like plants tap into this mycelium network so that plants can communicate with the mushrooms, mushrooms to the plants, plants to plants. It's like a whole cool thing. I learned this in like in whatever biology course I took, but it was super interesting, I thought. And mushrooms are like older than we are, so there's going to be some good benefits there for sure. And we don't maybe know all of the medicinal benefits, so let's go ahead and figure out what this is all about. Am I going to give up regular coffee for mushroom coffee? I don't know. Why is mushroom coffee potentially better than regular coffee? Some people prefer mushroom coffee in taste. It's described as having a smoother, less bitter taste than regular coffee. I didn't notice that smoother and less bitter taste, honestly. But then again, I know I go cuckoo for coffee puffs, so who knows? With that being said, I did enjoy the taste of mushroom coffee. It wasn't that much different, especially the brand that I got. What brand did I get? I got 4 Sigmatic. It's just a really cheap brand here on Amazon. Not expensive at all. You get the little coffee pods with lion's mane and chaga. You get the mushroom, the K-cup, compatible dark roast. So this is their website. You see they have trusted quality, tried and true ingredients with well-researched and reliable study benefits, nutrient rich and thoughtfully prepared to ensure nutrients and bioavailability, free from fillers and grains, third-party tested. Oh, I didn't know it was third-party tested. It's pretty cool. Feels good and tastes good. Of course, this is their own website, so they're going to have like the best promo, right? backed by experts. Great support for cognition, focus, clarity, and creativity in the brain. Dr. Tara Scott. So mushroom coffee is a type of coffee that is made with coffee beans and powdered mushrooms. So you still get the coffee in there. That's probably why I appreciate it so much. And it has the mushroom benefits. There was another one I was looking at, the mud water one, but it was just maybe more expensive and without the coffee. And this one maybe seemed more accessible to more people. You didn't need like the fancy, like, frother and everything. I do want to try the mud water one. So anyone from Mud Water that's out there and you see this, go ahead and hit me up. But I just thought this one was, again, easier, quicker to review. Is it just marketing, or does this mushroom coffee actually have health benefits? The stated health benefits of mushroom coffee is that it's going to improve focus and mental clarity, it's going to increase energy levels, and it's going to provide a boost to your immune system. It can help improve physical performance. All of these claims need more scientific evidence to back them up. Did it do all of these things? Most definitely, but it's, again, hard to tell what's coffee and what's the mushroom. So in particular, this 4-sigmatic has lion's mane mushroom, and lion's mane is a type of edible mushroom found in North America, Europe, and Asia. Lion's mane has a long history as being a traditional medicine and is believed to have a number of potential health benefits. Lion's mane mushroom is often consumed for its positive cognitive enhancing effects. Some studies suggest that it may improve memory and cognitive function in people with cognitive impairment. Lion's mane is also thought to have anti-inflammatory and immune boosting properties. If you ask me if it increased cognitive enhancement, then I'd say yes. But again, I'm having I think I screwed myself a little bit because I didn't do just the mushrooms only, because I kind of get that with coffee as well. The other type of mushroom found in the mushroom coffee is going to be chaga mushroom. Chaga mushroom grows on birch trees in cold climates such as Russia, Korea, and parts of Northern Europe. Chaga mushroom has also been used historically in traditional medicine and is believed to have a number of health benefits. Chaga is consumed for its potential to help boost the immune system and antioxidant effects. Some people claim that chaga can help improve digestion, lower blood sugar levels, and reduce inflammation. In addition, chaga is valued for its taste and texture. Some potential side effects of mushroom coffee are going to be stomach discomfort, allergy reactions, interaction with the medication. So if you're taking any medications, you may want to consider consuming mushroom coffee. How does mushroom coffee benefit gut health? Mushroom coffee may have some benefits for our gut due to the presence of certain compounds in mushrooms. For example, some mushrooms contain prebiotics. We know prebiotics are a type of fiber that feed beneficial bacteria in the gut and promote beneficial bacterial growth. It's important to note that ground mushrooms are going to have less prebiotic fiber than whole mushrooms. Mushrooms also contain polysaccharides, which have been shown to have anti-inflammatory effects and may improve gut health. Additionally, some people find that mushroom coffee helps them feel more energized and less sluggish without getting the jitters and the over-caffeinated effects from regular coffee. Yeah, I had a great experience with my mushroom coffee. I'm definitely going to continue drinking it. Will I reorder it? I'm not sure. I have a great coffee place down the street that I really enjoy getting their fresh beans and grinding them myself. I'll use the K-Pods when maybe I'm feeling lazy in the morning or short on time. And so maybe I'll keep some mushroom coffee stacked in the house with the regular coffee. As with a lot of dietary things, I think it takes a bit more than 2 weeks. I don't think it's that fair to give a full in-depth review on like my mental clarity and stuff, but I'm a big fan as of now. And I think maybe next time I will try the mud water mushroom drink, just because it's hard to delineate. It's hard to tell the difference between what was the effects from coffee and what are the effects from the mushroom. But overall, I'm a fan. If I had to give it an emoji, I'd give it the sunglasses emoji and a thumbs up. Now we're moving on to the trivia. The trivia for the day is going to be, what is the name of good or beneficial stress? We're going to have A, mega stress, B, eustress, C, that good stress, or D, vagus stress. And the answer is eustress. Eustress is the good type of stress. So eustress is the good stress. It's often the stress that's brought on whenever you're preparing to take on a challenge, and it provides motivation. Some of these challenges include like either a workout or preparing for like an exam that you're going to get through, perhaps planning for a wedding or getting ready for a big sporting event. Are you tired of dealing with chronic inflammation? Do you want to learn how to reduce risk of health problems such as heart disease and cancer? Stay tuned to find out the top tips for reducing inflammation in the body and improving your overall health. Inflammation is this double-edged sword, right? Like, it's absolutely necessary for helping the immune system battle infection and for helping your body repair from injury. Inflammation is kind of this calling signal in our body, be like, hey, over here, we need some assistance. But whenever that is prolonged, whenever that becomes chronic, then not good things begin to happen. I'm well aware of this because on my journey to become, long jump champion, a long jump Olympic medalist, I dealt with inflammation a lot, right? Inflammation is a part of the repair process from exercise, from injury. You had to do a lot of training, a lot of days where you felt sore, you felt tired, right? Being sore and tired is kind of a part of being an elite athlete, honestly. Like, you're always doing rehab for a reason. It's because you created some inflammation in the body from the amount of work that you've been doing, and you're always trying to nap somewhere because you expend a lot of energy trying to achieve these goals. I understood that intense bouts of exercise created inflammation as a part of the body's recovery process, and there were telltale signs that I was chronically inflamed. Signs such as chronic fatigue, difficulty digesting and processing food, overall soreness, especially in my Achilles. I can remember having my Achilles tendonitis, and it was very prolonged, but at the time I just thought it was because of the amount of work that I was doing. I was doing good work, I was getting it in. I'm sore. I feel sore because I've been doing a lot of good work, when really that wasn't the case. I can remember getting out of bed and being like, it was like I was 77 and like walking real stiff. Once I got warm, my Achilles felt better. But then whenever I would have to go to the track and do my warm-up took extra long. And again, once I got warm, it was fine. But then after that, I'd have to do a lot of rehab, a lot of icing, and still the next day, like even with rest, the next day it was not the way it was supposed to. And not even just the next day. I could rest for a week, 2 weeks, and my Achilles would still be super tender, super tight. I remember being very concerned that I was going to snap at some point. And that was just one of the signs of chronic inflammation, pointing towards something bigger that I ignored. And these signs were hard to decipher because, again, as a top athlete, you're kind of used to being sore. You're used to being chronically fatigued. Admittedly, like the digestion issues were weird. The skin issues were weird. I can, again, remember getting itchy after showers, which I knew was weird. I was like, that's definitely not normal. But some of these things are easily overlooked, especially when you're trying to achieve big goals. Hindsight is 2020. Obviously, these were signs towards inflammation, a breakdown in my gut lining, some leaky gut issues, and ultimately ulcerative colitis. I'm sharing this story to scare you a little bit, but also so that you can learn from my journey and my mistakes. What is inflammation? What does inflammation do in the body? Inflammation is a natural response of the immune system to injury or infection. When the body experiences injury or infection, the immune cells are sent to the affected area to protect against harmful substances. The increase in blood flow brings immune cells and nutrients to the area to help repair damaged tissues and remove damaged cells and debris. So inflammation is the signal that we need help over here. There's been some injury, there's been some repair. Not only are we going to bring blood flow through blood vessel dilation, but we're also going to remove damaged or infected cells. So that's all good, right? That's a good part of inflammation. I like the analogy of inflammation being like a fire and our immune cells being like firefighters, where when it's a controlled fire, when it's acute inflammation, it's not a big deal. You're working towards preventing like the larger fires. However, when it's chronic and these fires become big, it overwhelms our firefighters, it overwhelms our immune system, and there's not much we can do about it. Well, there's some stuff we can do about it. We'll go over it later, actually. So chronic versus acute inflammation. It is important to note that while inflammation is necessary and beneficial process, inflammation can be harmful to the body whenever it becomes chronic. Chronic inflammation is a prolonged and persistent state of inflammation that can lead to a number of health problems such as heart disease, cancer, and autoimmune disorder. Acute inflammation is when there's tissue damage due to trauma, microbial invasion, or toxic compounds. Acute inflammation is characterized by redness, swelling, heat, pain, and limited mobility. It starts rapidly, becomes severe in a short amount of time, and symptoms may last a few days to a few weeks. Chronic inflammation is slow and long-term inflammation, long-lasting, prolonging for periods of several months to years. Generally, the effects and extent of chronic inflammation can vary with cause of injury and ability of the bodies to repair and overcome the damage. That's all good to know, but what causes inflammation? Inflammation can be a cause of physical injury that includes cuts, burns, broken bones, bacterial or viral infection. Inflammation can be caused by disorders within the immune system, such as autoimmune disorders in which the immune system attacks healthy cells and tissues. Inflammation can also be a result of exposure to irritants. And we know certain food and beverages can cause inflammation, such as processed foods, refined sugars, and alcohol. Chronic inflammation can manifest itself in a number of ways, including persistent fatigue, muscle aches and weakness, joint pain and stiffness, frequent fevers, difficulty concentrating or remembering things, skin changes such as rash or acne, loss of appetite and weight loss, abdominal pain, and bloating. So before I knew my inflammation was chronic, of this list, I definitely had persistence, fatigue, muscle ache and weakness, joint pain and stiffness. I attributed kind of all of these to my efforts as an athlete. I did have skin changes, as I mentioned before, a loss of appetite and abdominal pain, which definitely I knew was weird, and I did not attribute to my pursuit as an athlete. The only thing that I didn't have on this list is frequent fevers. So I was batting a pretty good average of as far as signs that I was chronically inflamed. The good. When is inflammation good? Inflammation is going to help protect the body from harmful substances such as bacteria or toxins by isolating and destroying them. Inflammation is going to help repair damaged tissue. Inflammation is going to also help remove damaged cells and stimulate the immune system. And we're probably more familiar with the fact that inflammation doesn't always help the body. In some cases, it creates autoimmune disease in which the body fights against its own cells by mistake. Some of these autoimmune diseases include RA, rheumatoid arthritis, in which your body attacks its own joints, psoriasis, a chronic skin disease, and of course, inflammatory bowel diseases such as Chrons or ulcerative colitis. Oftentimes, the diseases associated with chronic inflammation can last years and even a lifetime. Maybe you don't have any of these autoimmune diseases. Chronic inflammation can still lead to heart disease, cancer, and other health problems such as obesity, diabetes, and Alzheimer's disease. We'll take a look at what factors might cause chronic inflammation. Of course, genetics is going to play a part. Some people are going to be more prone to having chronic inflammation just based off of their genes. We also know diet can influence the amount of inflammation in our body, and if you eat a diet high in processed foods, refined sugars, or unhealthy fats, that is going to contribute to chronic inflammation as well. Lifestyle choices such as smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, lack of exercise are also going to contribute to chronic inflammation. Exposure to toxins and pollutants are going to help contribute to chronic inflammation. An interesting side note about toxins and stuff, we had someone come to when I worked in the lab, we had someone come into work and give a talk about how harmful actually like incense and candles can be in creating chronic inflammation and generating all kind of cancer. So I thought that was a cool topic, not cool in the sense of like that you can get cancer from those things, but like just good to know. Stress, chronic stress has been linked to chronic inflammation. And I think maybe the obvious thing is infections such as gum disease or H. pylori infection, a bacterial infection are going to contribute to chronic inflammation as well. So there are several steps you can take to battle chronic inflammation. That's going to include eating a healthy diet. This is going to be a diet rich in fruits, veggies, whole grains, and healthy fats such as avocado oil or olive oil, as well as avoiding processed foods, refined sugars, unhealthy fats such as saturated and trans fats. Another tip to battling chronic inflammation is going to be to exercise regularly. You're going to want to aim for 150 minutes of moderate to intense exercise such as brisk walking, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity exercise such as high intensity interval training each week. You're going to want to try to get enough sleep to stave off chronic inflammation. That includes getting about 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Of course, you're going to want to manage stress to avoid chronic inflammation. And you can try to manage stress through relaxation techniques such as deep breathing or meditation, or by seeking love and support from family members and friends, possibly getting a pet. I know there's nothing like a hard workout, a hard cardio session that's going to reduce my stress levels. The things that would normally, stress me out, put me over the top, do not do anything whenever I've worked out hard in the morning. You want to avoid tobacco and excess alcohol consumption to avoid chronic inflammation. Smoking and excess alcohol consumption have been linked to chronic inflammation, so it's important to avoid these habits. You want to avoid triggers that cause inflammation, such as certain medications. An interesting note about the medication part too is that as a part of my journey as an athlete, I had dealt with injuries, specifically like hamstring injuries, in which you want to try to control the inflammation, right? You want to bring down inflammation as quick as possible. So I was prescribed some non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, just Advil, ibuprofen, every 6 to 8 hours, 800 milligrams, which is a lot. But you want to attack that inflammation right away and not let it get under control. What I didn't know about these non-steroidal and anti-inflammatories, this ibuprofen, is that especially when it's taken on an empty stomach, it eats away at your gut lining. It creates leaky gut issues, especially when you've been on them a long time, which I've dealt with my fair share of injuries, especially in college. And I was no stranger to these medications, and to deny the fact that played a role in ulcerative colitis is silly. So I have to contribute some of those taking those medications, to developing ulcerative colitis. So if you're out there and you're a fan of Advil and everything, it's not a horrible thing, but just note that you probably want to take it with the food and that you don't want to consume it often and frequent. You can try out some anti-inflammatory supplements in order to avoid chronic inflammation in the gut. Supplements such as turmeric and ginger. I wish I knew about turmeric and ginger back then. I would have incorporated it into my regimen, but that's okay. I know about it now and I incorporate it into my regimen now. You know, it's worth noting that this inflammation is going to be variable person to person. It's going to require some tweaking and you know, everything that I discussed that you find elsewhere on the internet is not always going to work for you. So it's important to remember that, you know, you just have to keep trying, and eventually you'll find the systems that work for you. You'll notice big differences, and definitely if you notice that you're chronically inflamed and you can't do much about it, go ahead and seek some professional help. Are you suffering from bloating? Try this. First, slow down your eating. Eat slow. Eating slowly helps reduce bloating by allowing your body to better digest food and absorb nutrients. Second thing you're going to want to do is drink plenty of water. Staying hydrated helps flush out excess gas and reduce bloating. The third thing you're going to want to do is eat more fiber. Adding more fiber to your diet can help reduce bloating by promoting regular bowel movements. Choose high fiber foods such as fruits, veggies, or whole grains. Fourth thing you're going to want to do is avoid carbonated beverages. Carbonated drinks can cause bloating, so it's best to avoid them. Fifth thing you're going to want to do is avoid chewing gum. Chewing gum can cause you to swallow more air, which leads to bloating. Sixth thing is avoid high fat foods. High fat foods can slow down digestion and cause bloating. Choose lean proteins and healthy fats such as olive oil and avocado. And the seventh thing you're going to want to do is avoid gassy foods. Foods that are known to cause gas, such as beans, broccoli, and cabbage, may contribute to bloating. A lot of this list has to do with limiting the amount of air intake that you're having. So like eating slowly, avoiding carbonated beverages, avoiding chewing gum. Those are all tips to help you stop swallowing air. So that's really important, obviously, for reducing bloating. And definitely, I don't do so well with high fat foods or gassy foods whenever my stomach is not doing well. So those make sense to me as well. But I can't tell you how many people suffer from bloating. So those are good tips, I think. Well, that's it for Wealthy Show number 10. I think we did some good stuff. We went in depth on a lot of things, so feel free to scroll and use the timestamps as necessary. And yeah, as always, stay wealthy. See you next week.